Good morning, beloveds. Okay, it is May 18th, and today is part two of the that two-part soul session. So if you haven't seen the first part, it's the event page is pinned to the top of the Facebook page, and the link is in the comments. You can go back and watch the first one, and then tonight is the second one. And the first one was fascinating and interesting. We are getting to know our sibling, Faith Unity, through Reverend Catherine, and she was amazing. So, and I think there may be a couple of extra people today. There's another Reverend Sharon, I think it's Sharon, that'll be on today. So you definitely want to catch that. Okay, it is May 18th. And our title is The Path. And our first quote is, "Show me thy ways, O Lord, teach me thy paths." And that is Psalm 24:4. And then the second one is, "The soul is on the pathway of an endless and ever expanding experience." And that is The Science of Mind, page 439. The senior students at the Ernest Holmes College School of Ministry spent a weekend at Sky High Ranch in the desert. Part of our experience there included 6 hours of silence on Saturday. On previous weekends, I had explored the desert thoroughly, but this time I had an inner urge to climb to the top of one of the nearby mountains and meditate. Eagerly, I began ascending the first path I found. Higher and higher I went, completely exhilarated. All at once, a large chain crossed my path, backed up by an ominous "No trespassing" sign. I retraced my steps and started up another trail. Once again, a sign that read "No trespassing" greeted me. I made 4 such attempts, but to no avail. I thought. Something is going on here. I lay down upon a large rock and stared up at the blue sky. Once again, the message welled up inside me: climb to the top of the mountain and meditate. "But I've tried all available paths," I protested silently. "Climb," came the inner response, still urging me on. Obediently, I walked to the foot of the mountain. Sharp cactus and desert growth were everywhere. I stopped and listened, and then was guided where to step. Another stepping place appeared. On and on I climbed, step by step, until at last, 2 hours later, I reached the top. While I was climbing, I began to understand that in this life I was not to take other people's paths. Those paths were often marked with "No trespassing" signs. But if I find the strength and courage to follow my own path, all I need to do is take the first step, and God will lovingly show me the next. Oof. Oh, I'm gonna have to hang on. I feel that one in my bones. Oh my God, I feel that one in my bones. That's Rainbow Johnson. Let me compose myself so that I can do her treatment. "I am unique. Through the law of attraction, I attract my special path in life. I follow this path with diligence, courage, and faith. When I falter, God itself..." Oh, hang on. I'm kind of looking forward to my eye surgery. "When I falter, God lifts me up. When I stumble, God lifts me up. I continue climbing until I reach the top. Then God shows me the best path. Thank you, Spirit." Rainbow Johnson. It's been a fascinating book. Okay. Wow. Okay. So, immediately, the first thing I thought was, wow, she only had to do 6 hours of silence. I had to do a weekend of silence. And I love it. When she was in school, it was called Ernest Holmes College School of Ministry. When I was in school, they changed the name 4 times. When I graduated, I don't even know what it was called. Centers for Spiritual Living. We called it the Holmes Institute. I think that's when I graduated. That's what it was called. It was called the Holmes Institute. And one of the retreats we did, they took us up to Shambhala, which is at 8,000 feet in Colorado. I don't remember where. And basically we showed up, and then we did, we got settled and all of that, worked out the roommate thing. And then, which I didn't actually see my roommate until after they put us into the silence. So that was an interesting experience. But and then they gave us the icebreaker where it was kind of a bingo thing. And then like at 8:30, 9 o'clock at night, we went into silence, and that was Friday night, and we didn't get out of silence until, 8 o'clock Sunday morning. And what we did was we met together, and then we kind of climbed a mountain, because Shambhala was a Buddhist retreat, and there was a temple. And so we climbed up to the temple, and once we got up to the temple, that's where we were prayed out of the silence. And it was at that temple where Raz came up to me and said, "By the way, you and Peg are going to plan the next retreat." And I went, "Okay," which was fantastic. So, so it was interesting to navigate that whole thing. And the interesting thing about Science of Mind is we are a loose organization of mavericks. We all do our own thing. And when we go through practitioner training, and especially when we go through ministerial training, they pound two things at our head. One, self-care, self-care, self-care. You can't serve another if you don't take care of yourself. But the other thing is we can't walk each other's paths. We don't walk the same path. Every single person on this earth has their own path. There's a meme. There's a saying, and I forget who it is. The only person who's wrong when we're climbing the mountain, the only person who's wrong is the one who's running around the bottom of the mountain telling everybody else their path is wrong. And that's one of the other things. We are so Science of Mind is this loose organization of a bunch of people who kind of we agree on the basics, and where we go from that is our own path, and we celebrate that about each other. It's like, no, go and do. It's like, here, let me give you an idea, but you get to take the idea wherever you want to go with it. And we support each other. And I like to think about it as, I can't walk your path for you. But what I can do is I can walk beside you for a period of time, however long that is, and I can hold a lamp so that you can see your path. And that's what our teaching is. Our teaching is a lamp, a light, shining down, illuminating your path. I can't tell you your path. It's your path. But what I can do is shine a light so that you can find it. And that is what I love about Science of Mind. And that's what Rainbow is telling us. Your path is your path. And when you have the courage to put your foot down and step out on that path, you are going to be guided, and you're going to be guided into amazing ways that you never knew existed. I mean, and I think what's hitting me is because my ordination is coming up. And God bless, did I ever think I was going to get here? No. Never even occurred to me. I was raised Catholic. Women aren't allowed to be priests. And yet here I am. Because I had the courage to take that first step. And I had the courage to keep listening to that voice that said, you're gonna do this. And sometimes that voice was still and small, and it was gentle, and sometimes it was a spiritual 2x4. So this is what I love about this. This is what I love about this. You can't walk anybody else's path. It's like Oscar Wilde said, don't try to be anybody else because everybody else is taken. Be yourself. Same thing with the path. Don't try and walk anybody else's path. Understand that we will walk together, each on our own path. And sometimes our paths are going to be the same for a brief period of time or a long period of time. you know, but it's still not quite the same path. And that's okay. In fact, that's pretty amazing. So, Rainbow Johnson, thy path, the path. Show me thy path, show me thy ways, O Lord, teach me thy paths. How many people are there in the world? That's how many paths there are to God. And that's the best thing about Science of Mind. It's like, nobody's got the whole truth. Everybody's got a piece. So that was Psalm 25:4. And then the Science of Mind, page 439. The soul is on the pathway of an endless and ever-expanding experience. So, the senior students, when we did that, I don't ever remember us separating. The only thing that the seniors did, well, we did. When we're seniors, we put together on our last retreat, we put together a senior service. And so all of the seniors get together and create a service. And we all participate. And so we have to agree on the theme, and everybody gets a little short talk, and we pick the music, and it was great. It was fun, and yeah, it was an experience. Okay, so the senior students at the Ernest Holmes College School of Ministry, I think the Holmes Institute's easier, spent the weekend at Sky High Ranch in the desert. Kind of want to know where this is, but I bet it's California. Part of our experience there included 6 hours of silence on Saturday. They got off easy. On previous weekends, I had explored the desert thoroughly, but this time I had an inner urge to climb to the top of one of the nearby mountains and meditate. Eagerly, I began ascending the first path I found. And it happens that way. We'll start on a path and we'll get so far into it, and then we hit this roadblock. And that's where we have to make a decision, you know? It's like, do I have the courage to back up a little bit and try again? And she tried 4 times. And then she said, I can't do this. She gave up. And so she laid down. And we all have those. And then she listened to the voice, and the voice said, nope, come on. I will show you the way. Until she actually gave up and listened. You might think about that like hitting rock bottom, because sometimes we do. We keep trying a path, we try this path, we try this path, and we try this path, and we try this path, and we keep hitting those no trespassing signs. We keep going, I can't go any further. And then we hit that point, and we give up, and we stop. And God says, are you ready to listen now? I will show you the way. All right. Higher and higher I went, completely exhilarated. All at once, large chain crossing my path, backed up by the ominous no trespassing sign. Retraced her steps, started another trail. Once again, no sign that read no trespassing greeted me. I made 4 such attempts, but to no avail. And we all have those experiences. I thought. Something is going on here. I laid down upon a large rock, stared up at the blue sky. Once again, the message welled up inside me. Climb to the top of the mountain and meditate. She stopped and listened. But I've tried all available paths, I protested silently. Climb, came the inner response, still urging me on. And I've been there. You know, with this call to ministry, you know, I ignored it the first couple of times that I heard it. And then I finally, you know, made the steps and said, okay, I'm going to do this. I'm not ready yet, but I'm going to do this. And 4 months later, God got me with the 2x4. I was like, all right, fine. Unfortunately, the good thing about the Holmes Institute is you can enter in any semester. You don't have to start, you know. It's not like that's the best thing about college is it's not like high school. You can enter any time in the year. Obediently, I walked to the foot of the mountain. Sharp cactus and desert growth were everywhere. I stopped and listened, and then was guided where to step. Another stepping place appeared. On and on I climbed step by step until at last, 2 hours later, I reached the top. And it's like another stepping place appeared, because if you've if you've been in any of the state parks, they want you to stay on the trails because they don't want you to ruin the flora and the fauna. So another stepping place appeared. And that's what happens in our lives. Our lives get so busy that we can't see the next step. So sometimes we have to stop and give up and wait for that next step to appear. Sometimes, the value of patience. And I'm not patient. And I never encourage people to pray for patience, because if you pray for patience, God will give you plenty of opportunities to practice patience. But patience. Sometimes we got to have it. Sometimes we got to wait for the next step to appear. And sometimes we have to be still for that next step to appear. All right. Where was I? While I was climbing, I began to understand that in this life, I am not to take other people's paths. Those paths are often marked with no trespassing signs. We can't walk anybody else's path. The only person we can be is ourselves. The path we can take is our own. So when people come up to you and tell you you're on the wrong path, how do they know? It's your path. And if they want you to take their path, you can't, because you're not them. You may be, like I said, you may be able to walk beside them for a little while, but it is your path. Those paths are often marked with no trespassing signs, but if I find the strength and courage to follow my own path, all I need to do is take the first step, and God will lovingly show me the next. All right, Rainbow. I am unique. Through the law of attraction, I attract my special path in life. I follow this path with diligence, courage, and faith. When I falter, God lifts me up. When I stumble, God lifts me up. I continue climbing until I reach the top. Then God shows me the best path. Thank you, Spirit. And thank you, Rainbow Johnson. We are allowed to rest on the path. There are going to be places to rest on the path. So if you need a break on the path that you are on, feel free to sit down and listen. And maybe you will be guided in a slightly different direction than you thought you were going. Happens all the time. All right, so the mission today, should we choose to accept it, is to find the strength and courage to follow our own path. To let other people walk their own path, and to understand that our path is ours alone. And while we can take advice and listen to other people, in the end, our path is between us and God. And there it is. All right, beloveds, that is the mission for today. Taking a look at that, waiting for that next step to appear. And we can do other things while we're waiting on the next step. It's okay. If you don't feel like you're making forward progress, that's okay. You may be in a rest spot, and take the time to do what you need to do. And then when the next step is ready and you're ready, it will appear. All right. I also encourage you, as I always do, to do something loving for yourself, do something kind for yourself, do something compassionate for yourself. Like I said, the other thing that they pounded into our head in ministerial school is self-care. You cannot serve others if you do not care for yourself first. They actually do use the airplane, put your oxygen mask on before you help your neighbor. Okay? That's how it works. Take care of yourself. So, whatever is loving, kind, compassionate, it can be 3 things. It can be 1 thing. Doesn't matter. Point is to practice. It literally is a spiritual practice to take care of yourself. It can be taking 3 deep breaths. It can be actually engaging all 5 senses in enjoying a cup of coffee or tea. And really enjoying it. It can be taking a walk. It can be taking a nap. It doesn't matter. Point is to do it. To practice. Practice on yourself. Because you deserve your own love, your own kindness, your own compassion. All right? You are a beloved child of God in whom God is well pleased and well represented. Take care of yourself. And you're creating a habit, a default setting, a first response. And a first response will always beat a reaction, because a response you can think about. Okay. As always, I do encourage you to do something to engage your mind and your body. I do encourage you to drink plenty of water. Go get a face full of bright light early in your day. That'll help reset those hormones and, improve your energy and your sleep and all that. It works. There's science. And as always, I encourage you to open the windows of your soul. Allow the breath of heaven to remind you you do live in heaven right here, right now. It is all around us all the time. Because heaven is a state of mind. It's a state of consciousness. And so we take Emma's advice and look for the good and praise it, because that is the fastest way to get there. All right. I have mentioned several things coming up. The soul session tonight on Facebook Live. I have mentioned my ordination, which is next Friday. And you can show up in person if you're in the area, or it's going to be on Zoom. You'll have to request the Zoom link. We have a guest musician coming up. We have a food market coming up, where we are of service, which we really enjoy. That's where we literally get to be the answer to people's prayers. So if you want to know any more information about any of that, please email info@creativelife.org. Catch us on the social medias. We are Creative Life Spiritual Center, Creative Life Spark, because we're on at least 4 of the social medias. And I am the running Rev Ryan on the social medias that I am on, which is YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. And I think that's it. So Reverend David will be on around 5 p.m. with you. We will have the soul session at 7, and then I'll be back with you at 9 a.m. So have a great day, an amazing day, a wondrous day, a fantastic day, an enchanting day, a magical day, a good day. And if that is too much pressure, simply have a day, because you are enough just as you are. As I said, you are a beloved child of God in whom God is well pleased, always and forever. And when we take care of ourselves, we are God well represented, because we are God in action on this planet. Okay, beloveds, I have got to go because I got to go to work. All right. So I will see you next time. Know that you're loved.